Okay. How everybody doing today? Okay, good. So before I get started, usually before we do a show, we get everybody together and we go. So when I say four, y'all say wheels. Four wheels. Four wheels. When I say four wheel, y'all say city. Four wheels. City. Four wheels. City. That's what's up. Yeah. So now I feel like this is normal. So thanks for having me today. I know what's that, a bell?
Sorry about the bell.
Okay. I'm not sure what video y'all seen, but so pretty much what I am is a hip hop artist and a disability rights advocate. I do a lot of public speaking. I do this from my wheelchair. So I've been in the wheelchair almost 24 years now. Actually on Monday, on Martin Luther King's birthday, will make 24 years of me being in the wheelchair. That's when my injury happened on January 16th, 1999. I got in the wheelchair by a gun senseless act of gun violence, so to speak. When I was 17 years old, my cousin was playing around with a gun that we both was like involved with having in the streets, and he was playing around with it one day and the gun went off and it struck me right here in my neck, and the bullet went to my spine and left me paralyzed since I was 17. And since then, I've been on a journey. Well, before this happened to me, I was involved in music. When I was a kid, I was in a band. I played the guitar and electric bass. This is before I started rapping. I remember being in rooms like this, seeing the cellos and the bass and stuff, like, what's that? And then getting into learning how to play the guitar, and then I was in a band in school, and so that's how I got into music. This is like 5th grade, and then over time, I stopped playing the guitar as much and started writing raps with my friends, and we started to make a group. We had a group called Nova, then Elite Cartel. So around this time this happened to me, I was like rapping, and then this happened, and I felt, that I couldn't do music anymore at the time. I felt like my life was over. I felt like nobody would want to listen to somebody who has in a wheelchair doing music. So, music has been like a real, I would say, challenge, but also a journey for me since I've been in a wheelchair. But I will say that, so all of you know, like, music has the capability to like heal. It's like a vehicle to take you places. And so that's my story in music. And when I started to get back into music and started to write raps again after I got into a wheelchair, I had to find my voice. And I was writing raps about things that I felt like people wanted to hear, like before this happened to me. And, it was cool. But then I started to notice that I was going through things, and I was experiencing like the wheelchair life. And I was starting to realize that there's a lot of things that need to be spoken about. So that's what music is cool for. It's like you can use it to express, you can use it to advocate, you can use it to inspire people. And I wanted to start making songs about things that I was going through, like stores not being wheelchair accessible, telling people to like do their pressure reliefs. We did. So, all right, let me go back a little bit. My partner Rick, who I met during this time when I first got home, he's a producer, he's in a wheelchair too, who actually got shot as well. He lived in the next building from me. He got hit by a stray bullet. And I met him through the grace of my mother, who seen him outside one day and asked him could he be my friend, because I didn't know nobody in the chair. Just so happened he was making beats at the time, just starting. So I had somewhere to go to like get beats, and we started working together. And when we started working together is when I started to like think about what I wanted to say. And that's how we got to like making these songs that turned us into Four Wheel City. And the whole idea behind Four Wheel City is to inspire, educate, advocate, and entertain. And that's our 4 principles. And what we're trying to do is just show people that no matter what you go through in life, like never give up. Also, just because somebody has a disability doesn't mean they can't be part of society, doesn't mean they can't have dreams, doesn't mean they don't have talent. And we need like the same opportunities and equal access. Part of me and Steven, I got, we've been working with the Grammys to bring more music to people, not music, get more inclusion for people with disabilities in the music industry. So that's what I'm doing with the Grammys now with an organization called RAMP, which is Recording Artists, Music Professionals with Disabilities. And so my journey through music has been through a lot of advocacy. So I'm just saying that part to like, as far as like, I don't know how old all of you are in here, but like I said, when I was at the age, finding a voice or a message is a good way to like express yourself and also find different platforms to get your music heard. And that's what started happening for us through Forward City. And I've spoken at the White House about my music, performed at the United States Capitol, the United Nations, the Paralympics. Worked with Stevie Wonder, Snoop Dogg, Jadakiss. It's just a lot of things that been happening over these years that really is a process of taking initiative to like not being afraid to say different things, express yourself through music, and just making sure that your music has a lot of value to it through just trying to make music that's broad and people can like relate to. So that's what I try to do. And so I'm wearing orange today because like another song we have is called Welcome to Reality. And it's about staying away from gun violence. And this, so it's January 16th, the 15th to the 22nd is Peace Week in New York City. That's why I'm wearing orange. And orange is the color of peace. So in New York City, from the 15th to the 22nd, they have this thing called Peace Week. And that's something I connected to through my music, through an organization called Life Camp. And what we're just doing is showing like different ways to deal with conflict and violence instead of being violent. You know, music is a way to express getting away from anger. You know, when I first got into chair, I was very angry. I wanted to, first it was like a person I knew that did it to me, but so I was very angry and depressed, and I could have went a lot of different ways, but thank God for music, you know, that it was able to give me an opportunity to write these emotions down and put them into like a form where it's like a creative way. So if you ever have like something that's bothering you, anger you have, you know, try to make sure you express it through your music first, because it'll give you something to take from the moment, and you can actually use it as a tool that things I was going through as a kid, things I was feeling from being in a wheelchair have taken me all around the world now and got me sitting here in front of y'all. And I didn't know it was gonna happen back then, but it did happen. So, you know, if you take anything from seeing me here today, just know that music is a powerful tool and you can use it to do anything you want, and it can lift you out of dark places, and it can also keep you on your path and not result to violence. And also, if you have any dream you want to be, anything you want to do in life, you know, make sure you follow through with it and don't get distracted by the negativity, because I lived down that path before this happened to me, and I thought that I knew exactly, you know, being tough, being like wanting to like prove myself to my friends and everything, peer pressure, and I thought that was cool. And then I realized after this happened, you know, it wasn't necessarily not cool, but it wasn't as beneficial, and it was kind of ignorant at the time, because I see now, taking another path, I realized that the same energy it takes to do negativity, it takes to do positivity. And, you know, I realized that, and I was like, you know, my friends who I used to hang out with, and we used to want to be tough in the streets and be like, who's the first one to jump and do the bad thing? It was like the same thing on the doing the right thing side. It was like nobody wants to jump and do that either. So it's like it's the same. You get the same kind of benefit from doing the right thing from the wrong thing. So that's what you should try to do in life as you move forward. You know, don't let peer pressure get to you. Use your music as your outlet and create through your pain or your struggle or your happiness, but just stay creative and tap into different platforms, different people, your teachers. Look for opportunities to always express your music and get in front of audiences. And you just never know who might see you and want to like sing you somewhere and pay you money to just do a song that you just sat and made somewhere, and it's a beautiful thing. But you gotta have the vision, you gotta have the faith, and you gotta like really believe that it's possible. So I'm like an example that that's possible. So you get anything from seeing me here today, you're seeing somebody who actually went through ups and downs and went through the process, and like seeing the other side of being like what music is capable of to take you places, and it could really be your vehicle to like your dreams. So thanks. I don't want to keep talking too long, but that's just part of my story and what I'm doing here today. And shout out to y'all for listening.
You guys have any questions? Is that all right if they ask you?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
What's up?
So, with how long you've been doing music and with how long you've probably heard the progression of music nowadays, how often do you hear music that is really like inspiring, or that you listen to it and you're like, that's really cool and like and unique and different? You know, like how often does that happen? Because music is really different nowadays.
Yeah. You know, I feel like I do listen. I listen to a lot of music for that, to find that, and it's like far in between now, but it's there. I think you gotta really be willing to listen to a lot of music though, to find it. That's what I like about the streaming now, that it gives you so many opportunities and options to find different artists that are doing different kinds of music, and you gotta have like an open ear to catch it. But I think, trying to think, like Kendrick Lamar does a lot of new stuff that I think is pretty cool. I like the way Drake kind of like expands like the what an artist can do, like from hip hop to R&B. It's not a lot of the stuff is not like creative, like storytelling as much as like I think back in the 90s and stuff like that, when you had like Tupac and Biggie. But I just feel like the expression, the creativity is very cool. So I think what a lot of artists, speaking from a hip hop perspective, I think nowadays is very on the surface level, but very real. Like a lot of people are expressing like they real day to day, as opposed to like sitting and thinking about like one idea and like focusing on it. But it's all creativity though. Yeah.
Last week we had another person that came in and they were talking a lot about TikTok and stuff. It made me kind of curious to know your opinion on what TikTok is kind of doing to the music industry right now, and you know, if you like agree with it or disagree with it.
Oh yeah, I'm actually just trying to get into TikTok myself. I like it. I think anything that music can be like a soundtrack for is good. As far as like movies, commercials, the internet, anywhere that music can be like played and made like the connection to people. Because music, if you see it, it's always put in music. If you watch a lot of movies and you take the music out, you won't even know how to feel most of the time. You know, so so they set the tone with music. So I feel like TikTok and everything, sometimes it comes across as a little gimmicky, like the way people just do things to it. But if you're an artist and that's your song and people doing all these expressions to it, that gotta be a good feeling, I think.
Yeah.
I'm Julia.
Hi, Julia.
I wanted to ask if you did music before the accident, or was music something that you did like, afterwards?
Yeah, I've been doing music since I was in 5th grade. I started out playing an instrument, playing the guitar and the electric bass, which I'm trying to get back into remembering how to do all of it now. I just got both last year, but I haven't played since I was a teenager. And like last year, I got a guitar and the bass, and I'm trying to get back into it. Yeah, but since I was in 5th grade.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
Hey, Rachel.
I know you said before that you used music to help channel, your negative emotions. But I was also wondering, just like, how do you stay optimistic throughout, everything that's happened, everything else, stuff like that?
I try to, how do I stay optimistic? I think I try to, okay, I challenge, you gotta have faith, but even if you don't have it at first, I try to challenge myself a little bit. But at the same time, sometimes it's about information, right? So you don't want to feed yourself too much negative information. You don't want to always tell yourself what's not going to happen. You don't want to like keep feeding yourself negative information. And you want to actually give time, yourself, and like the universe a chance to work things out for you, right? So you got to have patience. But in the process of that, you got to actually like be willing to take the step and put in the work to see what's going to happen. So that's what I try to do. I try to wait and see by doing the work and seeing what happens before I just be like, oh, this is not going to happen. Oh, this is messed up. Oh, I try to be like, let me put my effort first and keep doing that over and over. And then if you start to see success, we start to learn that that's the process to it. You gotta have patience, but you gotta put in the work.
Is there anything like in new music that you either really, really like that's like, something that's going in a good direction, or something that like you really don't like that people are doing in new music now? Or, like anything like that?
I think the direction of music, I think the answer I have to that is the same for both questions. It's like, I like and I don't like this thing. The fact that artists can just make music anywhere at any time and just put it out. You know how easy it is to do that now. So it's great because you don't need somebody telling you what's good or not. Cause I always thought music is subjective, or if you do a song, nobody has to like it as long as you like it, right? Or you don't have to like it and everybody can like it, right? So when you think about it that way, it's like, okay, that's cool. So if you make a song, it gives you an opportunity to have it on, like, you can put out a song and it could be right next to a Beyonce song. I think that's cool, like on iTunes and stream, like the same person looking for Beyonce song could type in your name and find your song right there. That's great. But then at the same time, it's like, then anything goes. So it's like, it's like, it becomes like a little overwhelming, or you don't know what's actually, what they say, quality over quantity, right? So it's like that thing. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, this isn't very much a music question, So before your accident and your circumstance, you said that you do public speaking now. Did you ever imagine yourself doing public speaking, or did you make yourself comfortable and confident afterwards?
So funny you say that, because I just was talking to my friend the other day. I was not comfortable at all. And the first time that, before I knew that I wanted to go down this path, I was actually asked to do it. My mother, she worked as a social worker for the New York City Housing, and they wanted to do, they had like a conference or something about gun violence in the community, and with the governor Cuomo. He wasn't the governor at the time. He was like the president of HUD or something, and he sent us down to Washington D.C. and I was supposed to speak, and when we got there, I couldn't do it. I was like so like nervous, and I was seeing all the people when we got in the room, and I was like, this is maybe a year just being in the wheelchair, and I was like, nah, I'm not ready to go up there and just start talking to people about what happened to me and stuff. So yeah, I wasn't, so my mother had to speak, and even my friend went up there that came with me. We was talking about it just like the day before yesterday, and how now that's what I do. And so crazy how that came full circle from that moment. But I definitely wasn't comfortable with it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there an artist or producer or songwriter or anything that you'd like to collaborate with?
That you haven't already collaborated with?
Yeah, it's a bunch of them. It's probably like Dr. Dre. I would love to be in the studio with like a producer like Pharrell. Seems like he just like comes up with anything and has fun with it. That gotta be like fun to be in the studio with a producer like that. Trying to see who else. I think about. There's a lot of producers that do a lot of stuff. I would like to work with I wouldn't mind working with Drake. I actually kind of did. He has a I don't know if y'all remember, he played Jimmy Brooks on the Degrassi, and he did like a song on the show when he was in a wheelchair. And me and Rick kind of remixed it, and I did a verse. So that's kind of like, I worked with Drake while he was in the wheelchair, kind of. But yeah, I try to just think organically, but I like to just, I'm open to all kind of music and stuff. So anything, I like the Afro beats and stuff too. So much. I like in all kind of music, so it could be anybody.
I'm sorry. You brought up Dr. Dre.
Mhm.
So now I feel like an asshole kind of for thinking this, but now Eminem's in my mind. What is your opinion on Eminem?
Eminem, I think he's great. You know, I think he's I mean, if you listen to some of the stuff he says, like you gotta be pretty great to say a lot of stuff he says.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's from a rapper's perspective. As a rapper, I feel like music is one thing to make songs, but just the writing perspective, like the words and the stuff he says, is kind of incredible.
Everyone's like the first vocabulary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he says it. You gotta be able to catch it, because he says a lot. He can say like, he can squeeze so much in like to 2 bars. You gotta be able to
Yeah.
catch it.
What type of music did you listen to growing up?
It was kind of, so my mother, she listened to a lot of Elton John, Sting, that kind of stuff. Then when I got of age and started buying my own music, I think Snoop Dogg was one of my first rappers that I grew up liking. Wu-Tang, Nas, were like the first, probably Biggie, of course, Tupac. Those were probably like the first artists that I really took to. Ice Cube. I used to go buy their tapes and stuff.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
When you're starting to feel negative, what things do you say in your head to keep yourself positive? Like, do you have a mantra? Do you have...
Yeah, I actually do. It's I say give the ball to Kobe. And you know, that's something I developed as a I used to play basketball, and as a basketball player, you know, there's always a challenge and there's always a confidence you gotta have to face the challenge. Like in most sports. But where the give the ball to Kobe thing came from is like, so this happened to me in 1999, 2000. I think the Lakers, 2000 or 2001, the Lakers won the championship. I've been a Lakers fan since the 80s and Magic Johnson. And then I remember Kobe came to the team like 96 or something. And I'm like, who's this kid just with this attitude? Like, he don't care what nobody's thinking. Like, he's just like doing his own thing. And I'm like, who's this kid? And then a couple of years later, he starts getting better and they win a championship. And he proved to people like, I believe in myself, you know, and I could overcome this negative doubt you have about me. And then you hear about him putting in the work, and then you see it on the court manifesting. And so me, as an athlete, I'd start looking at being in a wheelchair as a challenge. Like, I'm on the court, and I started to it started going back to school. I had to finish my last year of high school, and I didn't really want to go, but I went back because I didn't want to sit at home. And then sometimes I didn't want to go inside the classroom, especially if I was late or whatever. And I would be like, oh man, what would Kobe do? And I'd be like, well, just give the ball to Kobe, like, and just shoot. Just you put in the work already. You are who you are. You know, just get the ball to, like, don't overthink it. Just shoot. You know, just shoot. Don't overthink it. So that's like my mantra. Just get the ball to Kobe. Don't overthink it. Shoot. When you shoot an air ball, you shoot an air ball. You know, but keep shooting. You know, and it's gonna be all right.
Hi. So are there any like types of genres, like types of music that you'd like to incorporate in your like songs, like rock or jazz or like techno or something like that? Do you like find yourself doing that maybe?
So incorporate it. I might not seek it, but if I hear it, and cause I literally can vibe to any kind of music. Growing up, people would be like, yo, stop rapping. Cause it's like, I could be anywhere and hear anything. If I vibe to it, in my head, I just start rapping. It just happens. It could be classic music, it could be jazz, it could be reggae, it could be rock, I could be anywhere. So I feel like music is a feeling, you know. You don't have to force, like, I feel like if you can stick to one thing, if that's what you're looking for, the sound. Some people are like intentional that way. I wish I could be more like that sometime, mindful of that, but I just try to stay open to different kind of sound, like music. I remember when I first met Rick, he had a background from being from Honduras, so he did a lot of Spanish reggae beats and stuff like that. And I would rap to them, and then I would let my other friends hear it who wasn't open to that kind of stuff, and they would laugh. But now I'm listening to music now, and you hear all the people like rapping to like the Afro beats. You hear them rapping to Spanish beats. And I was doing this in Rick House so many years ago, and people was laughing at me. But it's like if you catch it, like the rhythms and stuff, it's all the same. So I just love old music, you know. So I'm open to it. I feel like it's more fun to try different sounds and music.
Like usually, I like experimenting with different genres a lot.
Yeah, it's more fun.
But it's not like something that I like want to like push, or else it's not gonna sound nice.
Yeah. if you feel it, you
Yeah.
know, it's a feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's how it's gonna come out the best. You got the feeling for it.
Can we give a nice round of applause? It's incredibly inspiring and good for you for continuing to do that you found, that as a vehicle to continue your self-expression because, I imagine that there are many other people in your circumstances who aren't lucky enough to find music or have music embedded in their lives since middle school. So, thank you for finding that and sharing that gift with the world because it's inspiring to me and I'm sure to these kids in ways that they don't even know yet.
Yeah, thanks.
As they develop, so thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Can we get a picture with you out here?
Yeah, yeah.
We have a mural on the wall out there and for the graphics.
Okay.
I'll send it to the New York office.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
And then there comes run some songs in here, so if you want to hang out, you're welcome to it. That's all.
Yeah, I can hang out for a little bit.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, and I think the date worked out better from
Yeah.
last year. I was going to do it last year.
I really do.
Yeah.
It's an inspiring story.
Yeah,
It's difficult for me to imagine, but I love that you do what you do.
I look at it from the outside looking at it. It's like an out of body experience for me, to be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah, because I go through it, but the things that manifest for me, I'm always like,
Right.
like that's why I got to keep going.
You had a forced identity change.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I always feel like there's a people find their purpose, their actual purpose. This is it for me.
Right.
Yeah. So I just keep going.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Picture.